Today I'm going to be reviewing this 12 volt 100 amp hour battery with Bluetooth from dchouse. Okay, so let's see what we actually get in the box. We get two M8 terminal studs with actually a little wrench to tighten them down with, which is good. We get an owner's manual and a guideline for the safe use of lithium batteries. Let's see here. Looks like this is in English and German, both, which is different from what I'm used to. Guideline for, so is this general guidelines or this battery specifically? Looks like it's got pictures of this battery inside, so it looks like this is specific to this battery, but probably general guidelines as well. We have some other literature here, some specification sheet. We could probably, it's a sticker. I think it's a sticker. We can stick it on the battery maybe. Let's see, is that a sticker? Maybe not, maybe it's not a sticker. And some other literature here that comes with the battery. Now let's get the battery out. Okay, so here we have the battery. We'll first look at the front and the sides and the back. It's a dchouse 12.8 100 amp hour battery, lithium iron phosphate, 1280 watt hours. We have some features called out here. We have Bluetooth symbol, so it does have Bluetooth and a mobile app. It says here there is, let's see, what does that say? Low temperature protection from 20 degrees Fahrenheit down to -7 Celsius. Okay, usually that's 0 Celsius for low charge protection. There's a state of charge protection indicator symbol. Let's see what else we got here. Spin it around. Oh, we have what looks like maybe it's serial number etched into the front there. Okay, here's the back. Let's see what we have here. We have a barcode, 3D barcode for support, some warnings, and a data sheet. Here we have a data sheet that actually lists out all the detailed specs, which is perfect. We don't have to go pull out the manual or pull out our phones or something to look it up. You have some tips about keeping it warm in cold weather and some cautions. Here's the data sheet if you want to pause the video and take a closer look. Okay, so I'm going to hold the camera in my hand here. Hopefully I'm not too shaky to cover the top. And I've turned off the overhead light here so it's not such a glare. But let's see here. What do we have? We have an on-off button, which I've already confirmed does not turn the battery on and off. It just turns this little display on and off. So we have state of charge indicator 0 up to 100. We have some fault indicators here, like high temp, low temp protection, over voltage protection, under voltage protection, over charge protection, I guess, and a BMS fault. So we have all that. I'm assuming it's going to be in the mobile app too. Then we have this 3D barcode, I'm assuming to connect to the mobile app. We'll figure that out in a little bit. We have some warnings about temperature when charging. And we have, of course, the positive and negative. And these are a little different. These are little flexible rubber caps. Every battery I've ever gotten, 12 volt battery, has had little hard plastic pieces. These are little flexible pieces. And we have the handles. The only batteries I have that have the handles like this are mini batteries, but this is a normal size battery, I do believe. I'll measure it in a minute to be sure, but I do like handles like this. Let's measure the battery. Okay, so let's measure the battery. We have just a little over 9 inches tall, about 6.5 inches deep, and 10 inches in length. I do believe that's a little smaller than a Group 31. If I can figure out what group size this is, I'll put it up on the screen right here. Okay, checking the voltage that it was shipped at, we got 13.02. I've just turned on the little status indicator on top here. Let's see what it's showing. It is showing 50% state of charge, which I'm assuming is just a guess based on the voltage. Okay, I'm getting the battery all charged up before we do a capacity test. So I've dialed in 10 amps, 10.1 amps here on the capacity test, and it started. I'll check back when it's done. Okay, so the battery capacity test has completed. Let's take a look. Oh, we got 107.57 amp hours, or 1369 watt hours. That is impressive. That is, just going off memory, I think that may be a record for me testing a 100 amp hour battery. Not sure, but I believe that is a record. So that's definitely a pass. For some of my more experienced viewers who have seen a lot of battery reviews and you know what this does, you may want to skip to the next section, because I'm covering now some stuff for some of the more newer viewers that may not really understand how to what a battery like this can do. So real quickly, here's the DC house battery that we're reviewing today. I have a 2000 watt inverter here. These are the wires that came with the inverter. I just have it hooked into the DC side over there. This is not properly connected. It's just connected temporarily for this demonstration. I'm going to disconnect it. But I did put a fuse in for safety. But the wires are probably too small. You really need 2 of these batteries for an inverter of this size, because it can draw more than this battery can handle. So just real quickly, I just want to show you that. This stores DC energy. The inverter converts it to AC electricity, which these tools use. I have some power tools here, and I have a dehumidifier down below. Let me pull you in closer and I'll show you this. Okay, so I just wanted to show you here, I do have, as I mentioned, some power tools. I have a saw here, a scroll saw, and this dehumidifier, which I currently have running, plugged into the inverter, and that's running fine. Let me turn that off. And so I'll show you, it should run this drill just fine, and the scroll saw just fine. So I just want to show you a little bit of what you can do with a battery like this. Okay, so now we're going to do a max load test. And so what that means is this battery claims a 100 amp continuous discharge. We're going to put that to the test. I'm going to see if I can discharge it just slightly over 100 for 5 minutes, make sure everything looks good there. We'll check with a thermal cam, make sure there's no heat buildup on the battery. But to do this test, I have the heat gun, which I can dial in the amps pretty good, and I have this oil heater on the floor here. I'm only going to turn one of the burners on, plus this, and I'll dial it in and try to get just a little over 100 amps. Okay, so I'm going to begin the max load test. Let me zoom in here, make sure we can see all this. Let me go ahead and kick on the oil heater. That should bring us up to about 71 amps. Let me kick on the heat gun. I may have to dial it in a little bit, but let's get it. Okay, 103. Okay, let's just do that. 103 for 5 minutes. Start the timer, and here we go. Okay, so it's run over 5 minutes. Let's turn off the heat gun and the oil heater, and let's do the thermal imaging camera here. Okay, so let's go around. You can see the heater down here has been heating up. It's got up to about 117 degrees. The heat gun should be piping hot. Let's see, well over 250 if I saw there. Okay, the wire right here on the battery got to 97 degrees, which is not too bad, but let's see, that's 87, 89 degrees right on the fuse. Let's see, I don't see any buildup really. So the battery is getting about as hot as any, the cable is getting about as hot as anything. I don't see, there's a little bit of buildup here. Let's see, what's that? It's in the 80s, so not bad. I did push it beyond its limits, so I expect just a little bit of heat buildup, which we did get. Let's see, 80. So not much to see there. Okay, so now I'm going to do another max load test, but this time I'm going to push it way past its limits to where the BMS on the battery should shut down. So to do this, I'm going to actually show you on the mobile app as well. So let me go ahead and show you the mobile app here. Okay, so as you see here, I have 2 batteries. I actually have 2 DC house batteries I've added. This on top here, this BW0166F3 is actually what is on the battery itself. So that was the sticker I showed you earlier. Let me connect to this battery. Okay, we'll see here the battery level is 87%. We're at 13.2 volts with negative 0.7 amps. As you can see, we see the total power of watts. It's discharging currently. We have 92 amp hours remaining, or 132 hours and 8 minutes. Everything's normal. Control, I can turn the buzzer, alarm function switch, storage mode. I don't want to do that. Storage mode is where you can put the battery in storage where I guess it doesn't use any power hardly. And you can turn it on here, or I know you got to turn it on with a button on top of the battery. Data here, we have some more, a lot of more information which I won't go through, but let you look here. You can pause if you want to read all this. Here's any warnings or errors that may be in effect at this time. So let's see, where I saw, yeah, single cell voltage, there it is. You can actually see each cell inside the battery and what they're at currently. Alright, so let's do this max load test. Okay, so let me zoom in here, and then I'm going to actually show you also on the mobile app. Let's turn on both oil heater burners. As you can see here, we're showing 138 and 39 amps, and the mobile app we're showing 142, 143 now. Okay, let's turn on, let's see, it turned us off, so that's good. Now, as you can see here in the mobile app, we see a warning. Discharge over current, discharge current. Let's see if there's no more details about it, just shows you the warnings. So what does it show you on top of the battery? Let's see, let me take this off. Go over here. And the battery itself, let me turn off this overhead light so you can see better. We turn on the status indicator. We are showing an overcurrent protection, same as what we were seeing in the mobile app. Now let's see, how long does it take this battery to either restart, or I have to restart it with a 12 volt source, because right now it's completely shut us down. So let's see. Okay, so I've waited a few minutes and the battery has not turned itself back on. I don't know if I just need to wait longer or what, but so a very common thing that you do when batteries protect themselves like this and shut down is that you just hit it with another 12 volt source and it should start the battery back. So I have a bench power supply here, had it set at 12.8 volts. Now as soon as I touch it to the terminals, all this should kick back on. So let's just touch it to the terminals. And there we go. Okay, so everything is kicked back on now. The battery has successfully reset. So I just want to mention here that the battery tests I just did were a complete pass. The continuous discharge of just slightly over 100 worked just fine for 5 minutes, didn't get hot. But when I really pushed it way past its 100 amp continuous discharge, the battery did shut down. And it showed that it shut down in the mobile app. It showed on the top of the battery that it was in overcurrent protection. Everything was good, so that's how the battery should act. So I just want to cover a couple things I missed on these status indicators on the top. Of course, the on-off button turns this on and off, and it does time out after a while, turn off itself. But this top left button, this top left light, the COMM, I really wasn't sure what that is. But as you can see here in the mobile app, when you connect to the battery, that communication light comes on. And when you disconnect from the battery, the communication light goes out. And another thing is that if you hold this button down, it puts the battery in what they call long-term storage. And I'm assuming that means it uses low power. And you can also do that in the mobile app. And that's one of the very few things you can control actually in the mobile app, is that long-term storage. Okay, so I just opened up this battery. Let's see what we got here. It was pretty difficult to get into. Be careful to not pull any wires loose from the status indicators. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's see here. What do we see? What's this little sticker here? Oh, that's just the same sticker that's on the top for the Bluetooth. So it's kind of letting them know what the Bluetooth is for that. Let's see here. Can't see a whole lot from this angle. I'll have to cut this open to see what size it is. It feels like a fairly sizable wire. It's 2 negatives, and we have some fiberboard separation board here that's caulked around the edge, keep it from moving. Looks like the BMS is over here on the right. Okay, let me see if I can get this disassembled, and let me check the size of these wires. Okay, this might be difficult to see here. Let's pull it up. But that is a 6 gauge wire. And the negative, I pulled this up a second ago. It's an 8 gauge. Let's see if I can get it on camera though. Yeah, can I get that on there? It's upside down, but it's an 8 gauge wire. I did notice there's a temperature sensor right here. It's not really touching the cells. You can tell that these are prismatic cells in there by their shape from the top here. But there is a temperature sensor. It's not touching the cell. Ideally it should be glued or touching the cell. So let's see if I can get any more of this off. I don't want to destroy this battery because between these two batteries I'm getting ready to make a video on building a 24 volt system for beginners that I'll use both these batteries, so I don't want to destroy this battery. So let me see if what else I can get out of here. Okay, so just as I was about to give up, I just decided to turn the battery upside down and shake because I could not get this fiberboard off without it breaking. And it worked. You probably can't tell by looking down in here, but it was not glued on the very bottom, which is good, but it was in there tight. I had to cut all these loose. There's caulking they put around there. I had to cut that loose, but it came off. So before I get down here, let me just finish up here on the top. So everything up here is covered very well. The wires are protected. The bottom of these terminals here, these bolt covers, these bolts are protected here. You can't accidentally touch them. I checked it already. They're all tight. Everything is glued into place so it won't come loose. Okay, so that's good. They took some extra special care there. Alright, so here is the top of the cells. They're laying on their side. And they appear to be have a metal bracket on either side here. And then they're strapped in here with these straps. They're nice and firm, nice and solid in there. The vent covers are not blocked in any way. I don't see any additional temperature sensors except the one on the top. Bus bars appear to be laser welded. They actually have these little covers here on some of these bus bars to keep it from being accidentally touched, which is good. Of course, people aren't going to normally be in here touching these things except for people like me reviewing the batteries. And by the way, I'm sure it goes without saying, if you do this, you probably have voided a warranty, so do not take the battery apart. And here's some little barcodes here that I did scan. I'll put that up on the screen here, and it says unknown manufacturer, but they were produced, looks like end of August last year. I don't see anything else here to show you. So the BMS is here on the side. I couldn't find anything that told me any information about what it is, or what the manufacturer is. Bluetooth radio there, looks like. This big heat sink right on the whole side here. Pretty good size heat sink. And I looked pretty closely around. I couldn't find any markings to help me identify the manufacturer of this BMS. Let's spin it around, really nothing else to see. So since I can't find any more temperature sensors, I believe I will do a low and high temperature charging protection test here on that one sensor on the top, and then we'll put this back together. Okay, so we're going to test the low temperature charging protection. And it's hard to see, but I've pulled away the little temperature sensor here from the board. I removed the tape, pulled it away. And I'm going to hit that with a little air duster here in just a second. As you can see here, we're charging at 4 amps. And I have the mobile app up here. You can also see we're charging at just under 4 amps. And if you look at the very bottom, it says current battery temperature normal. So let me hit the temperature sensor with a little air duster. And it should stop charging. Okay, it's now kind of freezing over, so it should activate here any second. Okay, there it goes. It dropped out, and if you see here, low temperature, oh, it didn't stay there very long. Let me hit it again. I'll try to capture it this time on the mobile app. Okay, let's watch this first. That should drop out of charging here just any second. There it goes, and you see, if you go over the warning screen here, we see low temperature charging, and it goes back to normal really quick once that warms up. But it does work. Okay, so now we're going to do the same test here, but with a heat gun. We'll put just a little heat on there. Let's see. I've got the mobile app showing here. Let's see if we can. Let's see how get this a little hot here. If When I can't take it anymore, it should. Okay, let's see if that will drop out of charging. There it goes, it dropped out. And you can see the mobile app, it went out. And it does say charge overheating. Okay, it cooled down and it resumed. So just what it's supposed to do. This DC house battery passed all my tests, and the capacity of this battery was outstanding. I do recommend it. A battery like this will be good, of course, for home backup power, off-grid use, trolling motors, but not for starting a car. So if you're interested in a battery like this, I'll leave a link down below in the description. If you click that link, it's an affiliate link. It will not cost you a cent more, but I'll get a small commission. And it will also really help me continue creating more videos just like this one. I would also like to thank DC House for sending me out this battery for my always honest review. I will be including this DC House battery and one just like it in a video I'm about to start filming on a beginner-friendly 24-volt system. So please consider subscribing if you want to be sure to catch that video when I release it. Well, that wraps up this video. I really hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks for watching.